You that do not know who I am, I want to welcome you to our live shopping channel at Adorn Cosmetics. My name's Briony Kennedy and I am the founder of Adorn Cosmetics. Now, before we get started, I will just go through a couple of things we're doing today, give everyone a chance to tune in. If you do tune in and I'm not responding straight away, it may be that you're watching this back. The lives do get saved. So if you are watching this and think, oh, there's some amazing tips that I would love to be able to watch back, because let's face it, makeup's not something that you just pick up. It is practice. It's a creative outlet. And so for those of you that are wanting to learn different techniques, everybody's face is very unique. So what may work for someone may not work for somebody else. Your environment, the humidity, the cooling, different things are going to work for different people, different faces, but it is a creative outlet. So you do need to give yourself a little bit of time just to practice some of the techniques. Things for the eyes, for example, and brows are probably the ones that you need the most practice with. Now, I just want to make sure that my team's there. I think you are all there. I'm not 100% sure. It's not showing me any of the comments. So let's maybe just do a quick hi, guys, so I could just see that you're there, ready to go. As I go through this particular look, the products that I've used will be available in this live. That's the beauty of it. So you don't have to jump out of the live and then add the products to your cart. So if any of these products are of interest to you, then you'll be able to add them to your cart and shop right from this live shopping channel, which is, I think, a bit of a godsend, because none of us have the time to be jumping around on screens trying to remember products that I've used, etc. So I think we'll get started. I'm hoping that the team are there. This is just a bit odd. Like, this is our probably our third, fourth live, and it looks different every time. I think that's the beauty of tech. Things just are constantly evolving, and I think this particular tech has changed it. They're there, so that's good. I'm not seeing any of the comments, Kelly. So you'll absolutely, the team will respond. So whether you're tuning in from YouTube, from our website, or wherever you may be, welcome, and let's get started. So I'm going to take you through every step of this dry skin routine, even down to what you can do just to protect your clothes if you're wearing white like me and you're a little bit of a messy applicator. So the first thing that I do if I'm wearing white is I usually grab something like one of our waffles. You can grab anything if you've got a makeup cape, and I tend to just fold it like this, just so I don't have to be worried about any kind of fallout, or if I do touch my face and then touch my clothes accidentally. Okay, so there's step one. Now, if you have got lighter hair and you are worried about getting makeup into your hair, I can't recommend the makeup bands or the skincare bands enough. You can just pop that around and align it in line as close to your hairline so that you're still revealing skin. That'll protect any of the makeup getting into your hair. If you've got darker hair like me, or you've got more of that sort of reddy auburn color and you're wanting to cover up a little this, these sort of grays that are popping through, you might want to ditch the headband and just get a bit of the makeup into the hairline. Up to you. Now, in the back, this is live. If you hear a sook, it is my Staffy that's deciding that she is getting annoyed because I'm not paying her any attention. So bear with me. I'm going to actually let her out. Hold on. Told you it was live. Okay, so let that sook out because clearly I'm not giving her enough attention. And let's get started. Okay, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you've got clean skin, of course. And I would always clean up underneath the eye. Even if you've cleansed properly the night before, grab yourself a cotton tip, some micellar water or something, which I've already done, and just make sure that you clean up underneath there so that any of that leftover mascara or eyeliner is gone, because the minute you put your concealer on and you start patting it, you're going to get even the tiniest bit of makeup that's left over will mix into your concealer and make this area look grey, which we do not want to do. Okay, so that's what I would recommend. Now, this particular look is perfect for anyone really, but if you've got dehydrated or more of a dry skin, it's going to be perfect because I am using a lot of our cream products. And if you are someone who has got, say, a little bit of that hair, the downy hair, like me, haven't sort of dermabladed it off recently, the cream products to start with are really good in not accentuating that. So if you've got the dry skin, dehydrated, or the hair, let's get started with the cream products, and then you can add any of the loose minerals over the top. Now, if you're new to Adorn, you may or may not know that the majority of our products are refillable, especially if they are loose or liquids. The creams are not, and we do not send our products with unnecessary packaging. We never have. So in our 17-year tenure of doing this, if you order a product, that's what you get. You do not get an outside box or any plastic. So in doing that, we have prevented or not even produced tons and tons and tons of absolutely unnecessary waste that you open up and toss in the bin. To me, we only produce and spend all our time and effort into the actual products that give you the best look for your skin, and of course one that you're not having to feel so guilty about using. Okay, so all of the products are Australian made, cruelty free, vegan, and certified toxin free by Safe Cosmetics Australia. So you can check out all of those accreditations or details on our website. You can check out the About Us page. We do have samples available if you are looking at trying some things you're just not sure about, and there are also travel size options. So I will show you some of those as we go through this particular look. But to get started, what I love to use is the rosewater. Now, if you've got our peptide spray, awesome. That's probably even better if you're looking at more of that anti-aging benefit. The rosewater is perfect for those of you that want to now obviously put on your moisturizer or primer. The spritzer will make the skin more moist, which allows your moisturizer to penetrate a little bit more rather than the dry skin soaking in the moisturizer. Okay, so that's the rosewater. It's a pure Bulgarian rosewater. I'm just going to do another little spritz. I don't know, life hack, keep one in the fridge, especially if you're menopausal, because it's just the best, okay? Now, I am using the Hydration Plus Skin Primer Moisturizer. It's a 2-in-1 product because we ain't got time for 2 different products. So this is going to hydrate the skin, as all moisturizers will, but it has all of the goodies that are in there, which are the organic botanicals. You can read all of the ingredients on the website. 1 pump. This is a refillable product. I always put my moisturizers or oils all over my fingertips, and then I spread it over the face to get an even application. Okay, now if you just blob it and then try and spread it, you're going to get most of that concentration of your product in that one spot. So to be honest, any product that you want to spread, I do dot it everywhere and then blend it. Now, 1 pump of the hydrating primer is probably enough for most people's faces and necks. If you're exposing your décolletage, then you may need a little bit more. But for me, I always work on my neck as well as my face when I'm doing my makeup. Okay, now I just want to show you. So the hydration primer, all the primers in fact, come in this airless jar, which is just a pump top. Now you can refill this. You just twist this bit off, purchase one of the refill sachets. Amazing. The jars are beautiful. Why would you not keep them? And then you can also grab samples if you're wanting to try that, or these cute little travel size, which are also refillable, and they are also airless. Okay, so love these. They're so cute. Perfect for traveling, going to the gym, or if you're wanting to try the product out and you maybe don't want to worry about a sample, you want to have a good try. Okay, so that's those particular starting points to prime the skin, moisturize the skin, but without weighing the skin down with too much heaviness. I don't know about you, I can't stand the feel of stuff on my skin. So it's important that not only do I get a good look and coverage, but I don't feel it. So for me, sensory issues do not want that. Okay, so what I will be using today is, as I said, a lot of cream products for my base. I'm going to show you what I call the lazy woman, the I have no time woman, the I don't care woman, the just get it on my face woman technique for your base, okay? So I'm going to be putting on some cream foundation, the concealers, and then I'm going to do brows and conceal under the eyes. But I wanted to show you how I really quickly just pop this on, and I'm sure there's going to be some of you that just go, yeah, this is me. This is the technique I've been wanting to learn about. The slap, dash, and blend. Just made that up, but I think that's actually a good analogy of what I'm about to show you. But just to show you that you don't have to spend hours doing it. You can if you want to, and I definitely do show in other tutorials how to do it step by step. And yes, it may look a little bit more professional, but you know, for every day, this is fine. Okay, so first up, what we're going to do is find the foundation cream stick that's going to match. Now I've just tanned, so I'm not sure which color I'm going to be, so I've just grabbed samples. These do come in sticks, the cream stick, which is awesome for just dabbing over the face, but I'm going to see whether I'm going to be the medium tan or medium olive. My suspicion is I will be the medium tan. Okay, now you can see my face, neck and décolletage are the same color, so I can color match on my face. If your décolletage is darker, that is what you need to color match. And yes, you'll need to put a bit of makeup on your neck so that you all look the same shade and not two-dimensional, and that causes that real makeup-y look. So if I look at the medium tan, never judge color when it's in the pot, because it will always look a lot darker once you spread it. Like, look how it looks dark and you're like, bleh. But once you blend it, so you don't remember, you're stretching the color. Okay, so you can't judge color just by what you see on a screen. Even our swatches, like that's full color, dense together, that hasn't been spread. So this is a perfect color, which is the medium tan for me. Precursor to this tutorial, or whatever you see on screen. Whatever you see on screen, if you saw that person in real life, it probably is twice as much makeup and darker than what you're seeing, okay? So you just have to weigh up that, okay, what you're seeing here, this actually looks quite light, the medium tan, and it's a beautiful popular color, but it's probably a tad tannier than it's looking in there. Again, that's another word I've just made up, tannier. And my skin, I'm probably a bit more tanned than I actually look in here as well, okay? So it just gives you a bit of a guide that when you're looking at things and then you look at yourself at home, you know, there is a little bit of a difference between the two. All right, so now what I'm going to do is grab, I think this is the number 10 brush. You can use anything you want. If you're using the stick, you'll draw it on. So if I had the stick, I would just be drawing that on, and then I would be grabbing all my concealers, okay? So let's get ready for the slap, dash, and blend. So using this little brush, now all the brushes that you'll see me using from now on are in this 15-piece brush kit. That's a little more than 15 pieces because I love it, and I've just put all my extra favorites in there. And all I do is initially I just put the foundation sort of where I know I'm going to need it, right? So you don't need necessarily foundation everywhere. I do make sure you get it in the temples because we've all got the veins and stuff there. So I put it where I know I'm going to need it and where I'm not going to put my contour product. Okay, so this is for cream products. Okay, this technique's not going to work with loose products where you do have to layer them. Okay, so I pop it there, I pop some there, and might put a little bit of foundation here as well. Okay, but pretty much what you see is, maybe a bit more there. All right, again, you would just zhoosh it all around your face with the stick, all right? Get rid of that red nose. And, okay, you could put a little bit under the eyes, but I am going to conceal my eyes after. Oh, am I going to do it after? Should I just do my brows? No, I'm going to do it all in one go, and I'll show you how you can do your brows without fallout. Let's do that. Okay, so there we go. Just the slap dash. Hide that little, okay, little bits everywhere. Because I'm talking, it's taking a little longer. So you would just be whoosh, and you're done. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your contour stick, okay, which shortly will be released in this skinnier, well, it's in this skinnier version already as a travel size, but that's going to be the size that we keep because it's just so much easier to draw on. But for the moment, I have got the bigger, fatter guy that we're going to use. Now, there are a couple of different shades. I'm using the original, which is the 01, I believe. The girls will correct me in the comments. And we're going to contour the face. I'm not blending anything. Remember, this is slapdash blend. So we want to create lift or slim. Now, if you have a narrow face or you're getting that sort of sallowness or your face is starting to go down, then you want to put your contour on more of a horizontal. And you use this part of your ear here as your indicator, okay? Now, you just place it a little bit away from the ear because you need somewhere to blend, okay? So you always put your product where you need it, but don't put it the whole way where you're going to blend it. Otherwise, if I was to draw that exactly where I would like it to look when it's blended, then where am I going to blend this to, okay? So put a lot of the color, can't see what I'm doing, put a lot of the color here, but keep it sort of short because we need somewhere to blend this. Now, if you've got a wider face that you want to look more slim, then this will be on a diagonal. You will go downwards, okay? So we want to create lift. You got a bit of a saggier face like myself. We go lift is like this. Slim is more of a diagonal, okay? Now, depending on the size of your face will be how far you come in, but definitely don't sort of go past your eyebrow. We need somewhere to blend. Now, we're also going to, you can skip this step or put this step in if you want. Perfect if you want to minimize the size of your forehead. Darker things look smaller. But I love this, not so much because I want my forehead to look smaller, but for two reasons. One, kind of matches my hair color. Blend it in. Get rid of those greys a little bit. But I also don't like that one-dimensional look of foundation. By adding in a contour or a bronzer or something like that on the forehead in particular, it just gives a little bit of a warmth to the skin so it's not just flat. Foundation is amazing for hiding flaws, but it does also give that sort of flatness to the skin, which adding in a contour or a bronzer product helps to get rid of, okay? Now, pop it there. If you've got quite a large forehead, you might want to draw it the whole way around. That's fine too, okay? But if it's more just for warmth, just pop it in the corners here. Now, if you're wanting to create this beautiful jawline, get rid of a little bit of this or a bit of fullness, then what we're going to do is just run this along the jawline like that, okay? Around the chin. So if you see it, you can see it like this. And then you're going to just do a little line there. Don't forget to blend this. I have gone out and had that still like that and wondered why the person I was meeting with was looking at me weird. But they should have told me, right? Who are these people that don't tell you that you're looking weird or something's happening or you've got, I don't know, trees growing off your teeth? I don't know. They should be telling us. So there we go. That's going to give us that nice structure to the jaw, okay? And if you want to, you can put a little bit on the sides of your nose if you're just thinking, I just want a little bit of a narrower looking nose. Again, the closer your brown or closer your contour product is, the skinnier your nose will look. See, the wider they are. So if you've got a thin nose, move them out wider, okay? So let's just put that in a little bit there, okay? That's it. Now what we're going to do, it's not it, it's actually just the beginning. There we go. Now we're going to add in Peachy Sleep. For those of you that have just tuned in, we are just literally putting on the product and we're going to blend it in a second. All right, so Peachy Sleep, who are you if you don't know what this is or haven't got one? I mean, honestly, it is life. Now, I like to do it in a C because we're all quite dark in there. If you're starting to get the sunken eyes as you get older, perfect for just dabbing it in there. Okay, now the Peachy Sleep is perfect for under the eyes because it color corrects the darkness. If you're a dark girl, or you have a really quite dark woman of color, you might want to choose one of the other concealer colors, okay? Because if you've got dark skin, the Peachy Sleep may look a little gray on you, okay? So for the lighter sort of tan skins, then this particular Peachy Sleep is perfect. Now, you're going to grab yourself a concealer now, not a corrector one, but a concealer just to help highlight and also hide some areas, okay? So usually pick one that's either a little bit lighter than your foundation. In this instance, I'm using the light, okay? And I'm using, again, the same brush that I used to put the foundation on, which you don't need because you would have the stick. Actually, while I'm thinking of it, this whole process you can do the same with, say, a liquid or the BB cream, okay? This Slapdash blend. I'm going with that. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of this, and wherever you see parts of your face that are starting to look sunken in, hence look dark, this is where this lighter concealer is going to be great. Now, some of these steps you can just miss if you want, but this is really going to help correct the size of your face, the health of your skin. It's going to make you look more awake, and at the same time, we're going to give that little bit of a lift to the areas that are starting to sink in a little bit. Now, if you were to look at my face, you would see there's this dark sort of area here because the face is losing volume. So you've got this skin gathering here. The skin gathering here behind it looks dark. Okay, so see that? Those two dark lines. If they weren't there, I don't know why I'm talking weird, but if they weren't there, if that darkness wasn't there, you wouldn't notice that sag as much. Okay, the other area for some of you may be just this part of the nose, and it can sometimes extend all the way down into the mouth lines, okay? So anywhere you've got that sallowness, even the temples is great for a slightly lighter concealer. Now, please bear in mind, when you are concealing an imperfection that's raised, like a pimple, I don't know, a mole, skin that's raised, a scar, you need to use a concealer that's the same color as your foundation. Remember, dark things look smaller, light things look bigger. Okay, so if you've got a sunken imperfection, which is what we're dealing with now, that's when you would use a concealer that's a little lighter than your foundation because we want it to look fuller. So a typical area for mature women, or even anyone, I guess, is your temples start to sink as you get older. So I like to put the lighter shade there, and I like to put it in the corner of my eye because our eyes can start to droop, and we can also just have quite red in that corner of the eye. We want to get rid of that. I'm going to place it where I said before, in the corner of the nose and just along these lines just here and just behind that skin. Oh, how awesome. It actually got rid of that pimple at the same time. Now, if you've got a little bit of a sunken chin, again, our chins can tend to sort of dip up as we age. You could put that lighter concealer color there, okay? I'm just wiping off. If you've got a small chin, maybe add a little bit of lighter concealer here just to make it look a little bit bigger. Okay, so that is where I would focus on majority of your lighter colored concealers, okay? And so we are now going to start blending. You could use the large cream blending brush if you wanted. You could use the kabuki brush. You could use the, words are not coming to my brain, the biodegradable blender. It's up to you. I'm going to use the kabuki brush. I love this for its versatility. If you're someone who just wants a couple of brushes, you can use this for creams or loose. If you are going to swap between cream and loose a lot, you're probably best off getting another one. Now, if you're in between brush cleans, before I forget this, if you think you've got quite a bit of build-up, what you want to do is grab our brush cleaner, and you can just dispense some onto a tissue, and then you just wipe the brush over the top like this. This is actually perfect for eyeshadow brushes where, let's face it, we're not cleaning them weekly when they're our own brushes. So if you're not wanting to mix colors, like, you know, clearly I've been using something a little red on this. So if I wanted to keep using this, then the brush cleaner is perfect for that. So you're just putting a little bit on a tissue in between uses, and then you just literally swirl it around, and you can see it'll get off that. It won't thoroughly clean it like a soap would, but it gets rid of that topical color so that it won't change the color of the eyeshadow you're about to use, if that makes sense. Or the blush brush, or any of your brushes that you just think, wow, I want to use a different color than normal. This brush is stained with another color. It's going to muddy the color you want to use. So the brush cleaner, actually, that really got rid of all of that. Awesome. It just gets rid of the color so that your brush is ready to use. And then it really just helps if you want to, I don't know, clean your brushes thoroughly once a month or something, then it can just help you with that. If you are someone who has skin conditions, I would absolutely wash, or not wash, but I would use that brush cleaner every day just to get rid of any bacteria that might have formed throughout the day when you used it the day prior. Okay, so let's get blending. I can't see the comments today, so I'm sorry if I'm not responding, but I know the team will be responding. We are fixing this little glitch. I am supposed to be able to see them so that I can answer in real time. What I might mention to the team is if you pop any comments that you want me to answer on the WhatsApp group, I might just see it flick up on the top of my screen real quickly, and I might be able to answer it. Okay, so we're basically going to, you can do big blending if you want, but you'll notice I'm just sort of doing like a push because I don't really want to move the colours too much from where they are. Now, the reason I love this technique is because, as I said at the beginning, we're all just a little time poor. And I just think if it's during the day, we don't need, you know, really sculpted faces. We don't need it to be all perfect, but we just want to get the overall look, okay? And that's what this does without having to spend all of the time. Look, you can see how that stayed like a nice sort of bronzy look compared to the rest. So it's a constant, like a little dab and a push down. Blend down, ladies, especially those of you like me that has hair on the face. You don't want to blend up, pushing the hairs up. So constantly sort of use a downward motion. You can use your fingers around your eyes if you're a bit worried about that delicate skin, but these brushes are so soft, I don't really think it matters, to be honest. Please remind me, no you can't because I can't see your comments, to do my chin. I like to leave that last because it's quite dark and I don't want to bring that darkness too much onto the brush. So here we go, and really blend into the side of your nose too, because if you're like me where the nostrils are quite obvious, it's quite red and it just looks awful. You got this beautiful face and then you got this side, sort of red side of your nostrils. So really get into there. Why did I feel like Mr. Bean just then? Okay, anywho, I've got another mirror. I'm just checking in the background. Now, what's left on the brush, if you're wearing your hair back, get into the ears, okay? No one wants to see white. I mean, who cares what people think? But we don't want to have pinky ears. If you're wearing your hair up, get behind the ears with what's left, okay? Really just to get that all over look because we're all a bit pasty behind there. Okay, now the foundation that's in the middle of my forehead. What I probably love about this technique, apart from the factor that it's quick and simple, is that whilst you're putting all the creams on, when you move, like, so you put your cream foundation on, then you get to, say, putting your cream contour on or your concealer. Each product gets to warm into the skin a little bit before the next product. So then by the time you get to this blending, the product has really warmed beautifully on the skin, and it slips on really lovely. I mean, our products, as you know, if you're already using them, do that anyway, but I just think it's just easier to blend, and you'll find you don't need as much makeup. Often when you haven't given it a chance to warm up a bit, you might feel like you need more because the product hasn't maybe stretched enough yet. Now, no one wants to go out with, an after, what is it, a 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock shadow, whatever it's called. We want to blend this. And I am going in a line motion because I want to keep this sort of as structure. Try not to blend it up onto the face too much because we don't want to look like we've got a beard, unless that's your jam, that's fine too. Then let's blend this. Remember, dark things look smaller. Okay, and what's left on the brush, just gently blend it down the neck. Now, if you've not used our products before, you may want to know that they don't typically transfer like a lot of other brands, and that's just simply because of the natural ingredients that we use and the pigments that we use are minerals. Okay, so they're not synthetic colours. We do use some synthetic FD&C approved colours in some of our bright lipsticks, but so far as everything else, they're all minerals, and so they really stay put, which is what I like. I mean, no one wants to be I don't know the last time I touched up my makeup. Yes, I do. 17 years ago, before I had Adorn, and it was the bane of my life. Honestly, having to go from work to going out when I had a life and I went out after work, or, the weekend, or I don't know. But I just hated that. I hated having to just feel like I'd have to reapply my makeup. With Adorn, no. I mean, unless you're in some really hot, sweaty climate, maybe. But even then, you could probably just dust a bit of the setting powder on. Like, it's got staying power without ruining your skin. That's the key. There's no point wearing makeup to accentuate what look you want for that day if it's actually going to harm your skin, and then you need to wear makeup. Like, we wear makeup because we want to. We wear makeup because it's a creative outlet. It brings attention or draws attention away from things we don't want. It complements our clothes, our hair, our mood, but we don't want to have to wear it. So the makeup shouldn't be damaging the skin, and that's what's key. Look at that. I'm sorry. Slapdash. Look at, I mean pet, I mean love, I mean hello, okay? All on, done. Now, at this point, if you're saying, I'm not saying, you could be saying it to yourself. You might just think, I need a little bit more somewhere. That's fine, then just add it. So if you want a little bit more contour, you could add it. That's not a problem at all. You just add a bit more and that's it. For example, I might just need to blend this a little bit more. But there we go. It's all good. Now, moving on, I want to quickly do my eyebrows simply because I want to get some structure around my face. When your eyebrows are looking the goods or they're shaped properly for your face, then you may or may not need to use as much eye makeup. Often I will see a lot of people packing on the eye makeup to compensate for maybe the lack of brows they have. Okay, and they're not even conscious they're doing it. They just want their eyes to stand out. They don't know why they're not standing out, and it's often because there's maybe not the definition or maybe not the volume of brows. If you get your brows right, yes, it's a little bit of time, it's a little bit of practice, but it is worth it. If you're a bit of a cheater like me, you may have had them tattooed. You still need to put a bit of brow dust on them because that fades, and also the foundation can sometimes, look like here faded a little bit. But if you can just take that extra time to learn how to do your brows and shape them properly, and maybe, Kelly, we need to do a brow live because I don't want to spend too much time doing this. But once you get these right, then you don't need to compensate so much with your eye makeup, okay? Because these, very much like the curtains on your windows, the drapes, these are what really frame the face as well, okay? So I am using a brow dust today. Now you can use an eyeshadow. In all honesty, there's been one of the cream, I think it's Compassion, one of the cream eyeshadows I've been using sometimes to match my hair color. Like, that's the beauty of the Adorn products. We name it something just so you know what to do with it, but ultimately you can put it where you want. So I'm going to use the medium brow dust today, and because I'm using a loose mineral, or even if you were to use a pressed mineral, at the end of the day it becomes loose the minute you run your brush over it. So it might look less messy, but it's still going to be messy. So a little tip, I use this, or you can grab, if you don't have one of these, grab tissue and just hold it under the eye as close under the bottom lash line as you can. Then any fallout that you get from your brow dust will fall onto that and not your concealer. The other alternative is don't do your concealer until after you've done your brows, okay? I can't be bothered doing that. I just like to do my skin first and then get my brows done. Okay, now, if you've got any of the loose products, you may, like me, want to just remove the sifter. I don't know. I just find the sifters annoying. I just prefer just to be able to grab as much as I want, dip it in, and then I use my lid as like a little makeup palette. So using the angle brush, you can buy these singularly, or they are in the 15-piece brush kit. Now you want you might already have an angle brush from somebody else, and that's fine. Don't waste that. But you really want one that looks thick now because I've got the product on there, but you want one that's really quite thin. Okay, it gives you much more control over how you get your brows to look. So again, we'll do a tutorial on the brows another time, but at the moment I'm going to put this on. It's water and sweat resistant. No one wants to have a brow missing, and I'm going to just pop this in. Now, if you were worried about the fallout, this is what you do. You just hold the brush underneath like this. And for me, I can hear teenagers. If you don't know, I have two 17-year-old twin boys. Look like they're 30, they're that big, and they're home at the moment. So I'm not going to lie, I'm slightly frightened they're going to, I don't know, they don't usually punch each other out. But anything could happen because let's face it, the minute we pick up a phone of any sort, even before mobile phones, kids just knew, and they just like magnets, whoosh, all of a sudden want to be with you, need you, or they misbehave. So let's just hope to goodness we'll just pretend we don't hear it. Okay, so filling in the gaps. Oh, I can hear the Staffy's toenails on the stairs. She's coming up. Yep, I'm going to see her in the background. If she knocks me or she's on my leg, that snort was not me. I'm doing my eyebrows. No, you're not. No, you're not getting involved in my eyebrows. Oh, look, this is live. We can't do much about this. Okay, so there's the brows, one, and let's move on to the next. Oh, I need a studio outside of my house, honestly. Okay, now, how cute are my plants in the background, actually? I spent the other day in the garden, well, not the garden, I guess, repotting things. And it's one of my favourite things to do. I love plants, much to my husband's disgust. Well, not to his disgust, but I think I love them more than he likes me to like them because there's a lot of them around. A lot. I want my house to look like a jungle. And so I love going outside and creating little succulent gardens, like in pots, and then giving them as gifts. And I love growing the cuttings of the succulents as well. Okay, right, so just filled in the brows. One quick little tip, just make sure the edge of your brow isn't hanging too much further down from the edge of your eye because it's going to give that sort of droopy appearance. If you do that, just got a hair in my eye. If you accidentally do that, then all you need to do is come back and grab the brush you were using before for your concealer and just wipe it up and away, okay? But we definitely don't want that to go down too low. All right, now just having a look in the mirror behind the phone. So I actually do need to go out after this. I'm shaking the camera. There we go. Now, don't panic if you put the brow dust on and you think, whoa, that's quite solid. Come back and grab your comb the brows again, because what that does, the little bristles will actually comb through the brow dust and separate the brow dust a little bit, giving it more of a hair-like appearance. Okay, and then the other thing you can do is just, if there is any fallout, which there shouldn't be, just get rid of it with that. You can also tone down the brows if they're a little dark by just sweeping over with what's left of your makeup on your kabuki brush. Okay, so leaving your brows, we now move on to, I'm thinking that's enough concealer under my eyes. I am. And then what I might do is, I think I might shut the door. No, it seems to be okay. I can hear a movie is being put on, but no, let's just go with it. I think we're safe. Okay, so now I'm going to put on a little bit of the eyelid primer. I can't wait to watch these comments back. Goodness knows what people are saying. Okay, so here's the eyelid primer. Again, you can use your finger. I've got the primer when it was in the pot. It's a colour. Okay, it's a tinted eyelid primer, so it's perfect for those of you that don't want to wear eyeshadow and you just want this sort of nude eye look, but you want to neutralize the red and the blue veins. I recommend doing this because it's a little lighter than a concealer, so it's not going to cake, but it's enough coverage that it helps to tone down the veins, which can cause that tiredness, that red look to the eyes, okay? So again, just putting it all over the eyelid, right up until the brows. If you just want to wear it like that, you might want to set it down with, say, the setting powder. But I'm going to be using one of the eyeshadow palettes in a moment, so I'm just going to leave that to warm into the skin and then pop my eyeshadow on. Before we go to that, I'm going to finish off my face. Now, you might find that that's enough. I'm happy with the way it looks. But I just want to add in a couple of extra products, and that is the highlighting blush, which again is refillable. I'm not sure if you can see. Oh, that's probably a better look at the color. And I'm going to use one of our round brushes. I think this is the number, 1. It's the first one, okay. So the bigger the brush, I think that's this, oh no, it's the same one. Where's my other one? The bigger the brush, here we go, the less coverage you're going to get. So if you want a really, just a very light something, use a bigger, fluffier brush. A brush that's smaller and more dense is going to give you more color and coverage, okay? So I'm going to use this one because this is a light color. So I don't really want to spread that lighter color so it looks even lighter. I would tend to use a bigger buffer brush for the darker, more intense colors because, of course, I don't want like a really purpley looking cheek. So you might find the shorter, denser ones for these lighter colors. So again, it's refillable. All you need to do is just tap it out and there's a magnet. It's got a mirror and it's great, obviously, for carrying that around with you. And I tend to just like to dab my brush. I don't swirl it around because I feel like if you do that, you eventually end up with the circle in the middle and possibly cracking it. So I sort of dab it all around, to be honest. And then what's on the brush, I put both cheeks and then I sort of blend. Now, again, following the same lift or slim, if you're wanting to create more of that lift to the face, so it's not looking so narrow and sallow, then apply your blush more horizontally. And yes, it goes over that contour a little. I also like to put it so it just covers a little bit over the eyes, just in this bit here, because we do tend to sink a little bit there, and it just helps color correct. See how it looks more lifted this side of my face? Okay, and then the same over here. A little tip, when you are putting your blush on, if you think, whoa, I've put way too much on, don't worry about that. Just blend it where you want it. Even if you're hating it at that point, just blend it where you want it. Grab your bigger brush and then just sweep over the top of it. And what that'll do is it will just tone the blush down a little bit, and it will also blend it, okay? If you try and blend a really solid color, or you've put too much on, if you keep using the same brush, you're just going to end up with this bruised look because you're spreading it further and further. So again, put your blush or your bronzer or whatever it is on. If you think you've put on too much and you're like, oh, I have to start again, you do not have to start again, okay? You just come and grab a bigger brush and use that to blend the rest of it away, okay? All right, so that's I have a cat hair. I have 2 rag dolls, and there's always a hair on my face. Lucky I love them. Okay, now I'm going to use, that blush is a beautiful eyeshadow color. Let me tell you, it is really, really nice. I actually might put that on as a blush color. An eyeshadow color. Yes. Okay. All right. And so I'm now going to put on the pressed highlighter. Again, you can use any blush or highlighter that you want, but for this particular look, I love the pressed highlighter because it is more of a golden highlighter, like a bronzy golden highlighter, as opposed to, say, a peachy highlighter. So if you're after that sort of bronzed dewiness, this is the color that you might prefer. Now, with the loose or pressed or any illuminizers, I do love using these little angle fluff brushes. Again, they keep the product quite isolated, but they're fluffy enough at the ends to give a good sort of a blend. Now, a highlighter, what the hell are they for? Well, they're for a lot of things, but primarily it's to give radiance to the skin and give the skin light reflecting properties where the sun would naturally hit your skin, which therefore the sun or the light bounces off those areas, making those areas look bigger and healthier, okay? So really what you want to do is pop your illuminizer or highlighter or whatever it is that you're referring it to, anything that's got that sparkle, I guess, or a luminescence. It shouldn't look like glitter. Put it wherever you're a little sallow and you want it to look bigger. So temples is good. Top of the cheekbones, a little bit over the blush, middle of the forehead's awesome, down the middle of the nose is also great. And you can also put it on your Cupid's bow for a injection-free lip flip. Okay, so you really can put it anywhere, collarbones, just to give that like naturally, see how I've not got any on at the moment, but see where the sun is naturally, let's face it, I'm in Melbourne, there's no sun. The fake light that I've got at the back of this camera, see how it's hitting my collarbones, like see where it's hitting. Now that's where you could just put your highlighter on there, okay? So I'm putting it on my temples because they're a little sunken. Now if you have an area that you would love to put a highlighter but it's quite wrinkled or has a lot of fine lines, you do want to skip that area, okay? Because anything with an illuminescence to it will make that area look more wrinkly. The only time that I don't love that rule is on the eyelids. I do have a lot of mature women say to me, oh, but, I shouldn't use a shimmer on the eyelids because I've got, wrinkly eyes. Well, who said? It wouldn't matter what you wear on your eyes. When you've got wrinkles on your eyes, you've got wrinkles on your eyes. You can't hide them. Yes, the eyeshadow may accentuate it a little bit if you like a shimmer, but doesn't the color and the prettiness compensate? Like, that's the way I look at it. And most makeup artists that have been doing this for as long as I have would agree. that wear the damn eyeshadow. Like, honestly, if it makes you feel lovely and it complements your clothes or it complements your eyes, wear it, whether it's a shimmer or not. Just stay away from like the high glitter ones, but the shimmery ones, fine. They're fine, absolutely fine. But for the skin, probably just leave those areas because it will be quite obvious, and with smiling throughout the day, it may get stuck in there a little more, okay? So temples, middle of the forehead here, especially if you've got a smaller forehead. As I said, down the middle of the nose if you want. See how instantly that's made my nose look straighter? Okay, and a little on the tip there. Okay, and I also do like putting it on my Cupid's bow. Any sort of luminizer, I haven't even had wine yet. Okay, so I put a bit on my finger like that, and I'm just gently tickling my Cupid's bow. Now, I've got an annoying lip that's flat here and this one's round. None of us are asymmetrical, really, so what do you do about that? But see how it's just given more definition to my lip? It's given that curl. And you could even do that here to give fullness in the lip at the bottom. And you can even do it in the centre of your mouth to give a bigger pout. Told you these were versatile products. Now, I've just put it in the middle because that's what I want. I want the fullness in the middle of my mouth. This is also a beautiful eye colour as well, I have to say. Like if you wanted to put it under the brows to highlight the brows, let's use this as a highlighting under the brows in a moment as well. Okay, so skin, you might be happy with it at this point, but another option if you just want to really ramp up the cheeks is using this liquid blush. It's so beautiful. I just love it. And I love the fact that it's in this little applicator. So when you're working with these more solid colours, you only need a tiny bit. And so there's no way of getting it wrong or putting too much on. Oh, except for if you're not paying attention, putting it in the wrong spot. So I love two blushes. I've always worn two blush colours. I use one that's a lighter colour all over to give the natural flush and healthy glow. And then I use another one, which is a little darker or has a bit more oomph to it to give that, I don't know, the complementary colour to my eyes, or maybe what I'm wearing, or just to make my cheeks pop a little more, okay? So that's a way of wearing, like if you ever see a darker or quite an intense blush, they're often not ones you can use all over the cheeks without looking like a clown. So if you use a lighter one first and then the darker one over the top, or the more brighter one over the top, then it looks much more natural. So you can, with this, just use your fingers to dot it, and I like to do it in circular motions like that. Look at, like, best blush colour. I just bloody love it. Love it, love it. It's so, and you know what I love about this liquids? I think we have to bring out more colours. I mean, I love all the products. This is the thing, isn't it? It's creative. It's just how you feel, what you use each day. So, but what I love about the liquids is you can really effortlessly use them without any makeup. Like you just zhoosh them on and they're just like, keep one in the car, ladies, if you've just accidentally been called out and, I don't know, you've dropped off the kids, you've gone somewhere thinking you could get away with looking like you're tired. Have that in your car. Eyes, lips, done. Okay, so that's, I might just put a little bit more because I've got less lighting in my room on this side. This side of my face looks a little darker than this, okay, but it is actually just the lighting. If you've got down lights, Lord help me, they are the worst existence for applying makeup. You have to work with what you've got. But grab a mirror and just check. Stand in front of a mirror before you leave the house, because honestly, those down lights, they're awful. They make you look like you've got dark circles under your, like, I've never met anyone that looks good under a downlight. If you do, please message me. I want to see your pictures. All right, so because I placed this up my cheeks a little bit higher before, I just want to blend this side a little bit with a brush because I've just put too much on in the wrong spot. But that, oh, little pop. We love a little pop. Now, back to, before we get into eyeliner and things like that, back to this pressed highlighting blush. I'm going to now just put a little wash over my eyelids, just using one of the larger flat brushes. Remember, the longer the bristles, the less sort of coverage you're going to get. This is kind of a medium brush, so it's going to give me a little coverage, but also it's a good brush to blend with when you want to do what I would call a wash of colour, which is the whole eyelid up to the brow bone. That's what I call a wash of colour. The best eye technique for pretty much anyone, depending on your eye shape, the wash of colour just ends a little bit differently for some people. So if you've got sunken eyes or you have hooded eyes, what you want to do is put your lighter colour right up over your brow bone. Don't raise your eyes. Don't lift your eyes. Don't do any of this. You always put your eyeshadow on with just a natural eye looking ahead, okay? In your mag mirror or whatever it is that you need to do. If you're blind like myself, I just kind of know where I'm putting it now that I don't need my mag mirror. But what you do is you just place the eyeshadow up over the brow bone. Keep your eye natural and relaxed. Then what you do is you come back with, again, the longest fluffy brush in the 15-piece brush kit. Remember, long, fluffy, they blend. Then you get rid of this line. That's that line which I call a seam. We want to make it seamless. Just blend that away. And then you have a beautiful wash of colour that also, if you've got hooded eyes, will give you an eye socket. Okay, so on me, who's already got an eye socket, it's not going to work. But by bringing the colour up onto the brow bone and then just blending the line away a bit, you're creating a crease, okay? Depending on how dark the shadow is how much of a socket you create. The lighter colours are obviously going to be less of a socket, but they're much easier to blend. I think if you're a novice working with makeup, just start with these lighter sort of to medium tones before you start venturing off into the darker ones. Okay, so I'm going to just head back to this illuminizer that I had a moment ago, and I am going to just use a little bit on the outer edge of my eyebrow. I don't like putting a shimmer all the way under my brow. That's probably the only time I will say maybe stay away from that. If you have quite a full, or if you've got quite a lot of skin under the brow, like your brow bone area is quite full, you don't want to enhance that. So you can use the shimmery eyeshadows on the lid, but leave this area here more for those matte sort of colours. If you don't have a large brow bone area, then you can use a little bit of a shimmer, it's fine. But definitely just stick to this outer third. So where your pupil ends, this outer third, because that gives a lift. It just creates a higher brow arch. If you put it across the whole way, it can look like sweat. So it's just a little bit on the ends. And in actual fact, I do like to put it above the brow as well because it just helps to create that lift. Okay, so that's using the same colours that we had on the skin, on the eyes. And to be honest, on a day-to-day basis, that's what I love doing. Whatever I've got on my cheeks tends to go on my eyes. It's quick, it's easy, I know it's going to match, and I don't have to fuss around with worrying about what's going to work. So if you're a bit of a novice, that's what I would recommend. If you're wanting to use a different eyeshadow colour and just add in something to just give a little bit of a pop, I'm going to use my favourite collection here. Now, without it being something you have to, I mean, it's probably popping up into the products there, but this is all of the four. So when you open up the eyeshadow page, which you won't because you're watching this at the moment. But if you did later on, it's all of the shades that are on the left going down vertically. Okay, so you've got your mocha, your dusty, oh God, see, and then cognac, and I'm forgetting what this color is, but this is my favorite palette. This suits most people. Yes, it's a little bright, but it's in particular beautiful for those of you with blue eyes. Any peachy colors make blue sort of stand out. Okay, so I want to add what I call a pop of color. I've got a wash of color on now, which just looks pretty. It looks elegant. It can be correcting for your eye shape. But now what I want to do is add in a little pop. Okay, again, you know, these sort of colors that you might not wear all over your eye because it's a lot. If you do, that's fine. But if you just want a little bit of something, this is how you can do that. So grabbing a new, oh no, I might just use the same brush. It won't matter. Grabbing this flat brush, I'm going to put a little bit of color just in the middle here. Bear with me. So it's what I would call a little cat's eye pop of color. You can put a pop of color in the corners here, but I like to sometimes put it right in the middle of my eye. Now I'm using this mocha color. Now it looks quite muted in the screen, but it is a light peachy color. And what I'm doing, again, I'm keeping my eye relaxed. I'm putting it in the middle. So it kind of looks like a bit of a cat's eye, okay? Oh God, I can see the staffy. Oh Jesus. Here we go. Oh. If she tries to jump on me from there, I swear to goodness. Okay, so again, as I said, the popper color you can do into your crease, you could do a little C, but this is just a cute little technique that I have done for years. It's my little cat's eye. I actually probably haven't shown you guys this for a long time, but I just put it in the middle of my eye like that. And then what I do is I just pat it until it blends with the other colors. Now, what I'm noticing for me now is that intensity is I'm liking that, but I don't want it to get any more intense. So I'm going to swap brushes now because I don't want to add any more color. This is what I was talking about, having a spare brush all the time. And I'm going to just use one of my, what I would call a socket, and I'm just going to blend that down. I'm just getting rid of the seam. I don't want to see a line. So I'm kind of sort of blending in, out really quickly like that, just over the line because I don't want to lose that color, okay? Now, make sure if you're not wearing eyeliner, make sure you get that pop of color right down to your lash line. You don't want to have a little white gap. So tickle it right into the lashes. Okay, and you just blend it until you're happy with that little pop as to how deep or intense it is. Okay, now I'm just going to grab finally a large blending brush and I'm just going to sweep over it all just to blend it all together. So always have one of these handy. Because I don't want to see any lines. So this not only blends it, but it just tones all of the colours down a little bit, but brings them all together. So see how I've got this nice little pop of colour. Now this might be a bit too intense for you, so you can use a lighter shade, but see I've got this pop of colour, and when I look around, but it's not like full orange eyes everywhere, okay? So it's just this nice little, when I look, you might be looking at it going, no, I don't think it looks nice. But you could do that with any colour, a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, whatever it might be, okay? So there's your little pop. Now I'm going to pop on some eyeliner, and I'm going to use 2 eyeliners, and then we've got 25 minutes left. We are getting towards the end. And what I like sometimes is using 2 eyeliners. So when I want to use an eyeliner that's got a bit of colour, or a lighter overall eyeliner, which you get that beautiful color. Like, for example, I'm going to use this green. I want to use the green because it's going to be complementary to what my look is, but then it kind of, because it's not dark, it loses the factor of making my eyelashes look as full, okay? So I'm going to also use a black or a brown, and I'll show you in a minute why. That's just to help with the lash line. So the lighter colors are perfect if you are someone who is struggling with getting an eyeliner straight. Maybe it looks a bit harsh. I do recommend staying away from black if you are more mature, if you've got smaller eyes, if you've got black hair, because it looks quite, the contrast between the black and then the skin can be quite harsh. Black can be, it can make things look smaller. So unless you've got larger eyes, or at the end of the day, you do you, but black is more harsh, okay? And it can make it just can make things stand out more. I'm trying to be very diplomatic in the way I say things. So brown, the dark browns, I much prefer, and you still get that definition and also the improvement of your lash volume. That's what the eyeliners do. So the greens, and we've also got what's the other color I'm having a moment? The graphite, so the golden emerald, the graphite, the amethyst, copper, all of the colors except for the black and brown, even topaz, they're lighter, much more subtle colors that are easier to work with. But, have a play, because these are also eyeshadows, so you can actually draw it all over and blend it if you wanted to. What I love about the crayons is that they wind up. I still have one of the older versions that's a sharpening one, but they wind up, and you definitely don't have to worry about a precise line, okay? Now, with your eyeliner, the technique or the placement that suits most people is just this outer corner. Look at that couple of extra strokes, quick strokes, and look at the difference between this eye and this eye. This eye looks lifted. It looks like it's got a natural cat's eye to it, and it looks like it has more lashes, and I haven't done mascara yet. That was literally me, if I go in close enough. See that tiny little bit there? And so it's the corner of your eye where you can feel the wetness of your eye almost, and you just flick into your lashes, and just flick up. Okay, don't try and create a line, just flick up. And look at that. That is a technique that anyone can do. Again, if you've got wrinkly eyes, just gently, don't push the pencil down. These pigments are very strong. You barely need to touch the skin. Look, like I've just literally dabbed it on my hand. Okay, it comes off, so you don't need to press hard. If you've got the wrinkles, don't press down, because you're just stretching the skin, and then when the skin goes back relaxed, the line's going to be wonky. Okay, so look straight ahead, find that wet corner of your eye, and just flick up into the lashes. It's the shortest little movement. This is something you can all do in a couple of seconds, and look. Okay, now if you wanted to, you could create a little more height by now, and see, look at that. See, it's just gone into, it looks like I've got a perfect line. You're welcome. If you're wanting to create even more height, you could now just on top of the lashes, just gently flicking inwards, but always do it so that you can feel your lashes moving. Then you know that the line's going to stay straight. So I've just brought this color over a little bit more, see? So see that one, there's a little gap there. I'm just going to bring that straight back down into the lashes. See if I can do this without looking. I'm going to regret it, aren't I? No? There we go. Just a couple of little strokes. Now, a little tip, if you want to create a winged eyeliner, all you need to do is, where is my angle brush? Oh, here it is. All you need to do is either use the colour that's there by using the longest tip of the angle brush and putting it in so you can just feel it almost poking you in the eye, and you're going to flick this up towards your brow. So you're going to just keep your eyes natural and you're just flicking it up like that. So you've got a little cat's eye. And again, you can do that as extreme as you want. Like you might want it to be more obvious, but this is how you can do it without having to actually draw the line, which often will look thick because the eyeliner is getting more blunt as you're using it, okay? So it's all about using a little brush. You can even get your angle brush and just do a bit of this. Again, the longest part of the angle brush into the corner of the eye and just flick up, or even stamp it down if you're wanting to. But I just do barely touching the skin so that my skin's barely moving. I just like to do a little flick. See? Patience, and look at that compared to this side. It just opens the eye up. So let's get a little bit more on. This is the golden emerald. Again, the longest part, I'm just putting it under the lashes and very gentle. I'm not pushing on the skin, even though that flap is moving. Just gentle flicks a few times. Might need a bit more on this one. Until you get that little wing, little chicken wing. There we go. See? And now we've got little wings, which is perfect. All got one dodgy eye, haven't we? This one, my skin hangs down a little bit on, so I like to just press it a few more times. Yep. And I might just add a bit more here. See how you can just keep adding it so it's more obvious or less obvious or whatever. Now, if you put the line on, you're, oh, it's going down or it's wrong, again, come back to your little concealer brush and in line with your lower lash line, just go, whoop, and you have, oh, perfect winged eyeliner. Look at that. Dun, dun, dun. So there you go. Hopefully, if you do want me to do another little, just a quick half an hour tutorial on this eyeliner technique, let me know. I can come back and do that. And now what we're going to do is pop I've just broken it. I just whacked it onto my tripod. Just whacked the eyeliner on the tripod that I'm using. Anywho, let me just push it back in. Should be okay. All right, so now I'm using the brown and I'm going into what I call the wet line. So it's the line or the skin under your top lash line. And so only have a little bit of the pencil out, and what you're doing is you're just tickling. So it does sort of feel like you're going to poke yourself in the eye. Don't. And just tickle that skin, because filling that in with the brown or the black eyeliner just makes your lashes look thicker, okay, and just more intense. You could do it with the green. It's just that obviously it's not going to look as much like your lashes. Now, lastly, up to you. You might want to leave the eyeliner. If you want more height to your eyes, the same thing, you can put a little bit on this outer corner. Don't go past your iris. And the reason I say don't, you can, but this placement suits nearly every eye shape, okay? So if we're not worrying about whether someone's got sort of more of a protruding eye or a sunken eye or whatever eye shape you've got, this will suit you, okay? So a little bit here. Now, the only time you would skip your top eyeliner is if your hooded eye sits on your eye line. If you can't see your lashes, don't do eyeliner. because there's no point. It's going to end up on your skin. You're much better off doing that wash technique that I just showed you with an eyeshadow to create that look of a socket. Yes, focus on this, and that being this little bit of eyeliner in this bottom outer corner here. Everyone can do this for height, but in particular if you've got the hooded eyes that sit on the lashes, the top lashes, and you can't see them. This is great underneath because it just gives that illusion of a bigger eye, okay? Now, again, I'm just coming back to one of my larger brushes. I don't want that to look like it's so intense, and I'm just blending it. I'm blending it into, not that way, because if I blend this way, it's going to smudge the color out and give me the look of dark circles. Okay, you want to blend your eyeliner inwards with a clean brush. Okay, you're just gently patting it inwards like that. So it's got that no seam look. Okay. Sorry, I keep having to sip water. I don't normally use bottles of water. Someone gave me one today. I was absolutely parched and feeling like I needed to faint. Normally, I would never take a plastic bottle, but I nearly passed out. So here I am using a plastic bottle at home. Okay, so I'm really happy with how that's all looking. What I'm going to do now is move on to just quickly curling my lashes, doing my mascara, and then just popping on a little lip glaze, I think I'm going to show you now. So the curling is simple. Simple, she says. This top part of the curler sits on your top lash line. So very gently let it so you can feel the coldness of it sitting on your eyelid above the lash line. Now, when I press down, can't see because I've got my glasses, but when I press down, you'll see that my lashes lift up. So it's feel the coldness, gently push down. Pushing down curls the lashes up and into, see? Can you see them? I hope you can. Pushes them up into, and then you can clamp down. Now, before you squeeze tightly, if you grab any bottom lashes, just slightly open it and just tug down to get the bottom lashes out. Then clamp down tight, and then what you're going to do is you're going to curl up like this. Curling up just gives that extra curl to the lashes, and then you're just going to open it a little bit and move it towards the end. Now, I like to do this before and after I've done my mascara because the mascara acts like gel and even holds it even further. Now, I've rested that and it's just put a little dent in my concealer, so I'm just going to bang that out again. Perfect. Okay, let's do the other eye. You can definitely skip this step, but honestly, it really makes a difference. Like since I was a teenager, I don't know, it was just more fashionable. It's not fashionable, but everybody used curlers back then. Well, I thought they did. And so I've used a curler since I was a teenager, to be honest. And the odd time that I haven't, regretted it because I'm not blessed. I gave those lashes to my sons, but no, I don't have them. Okay, so then we've got the lash primer. Now, the purpose of the lash primer, it is literally a white mascara with some kaolin in it, which basically acts as a coverage for the lashes. It thickens and lengthens the lashes a little bit. I think it's actually quite conditioning as well. But the reason you use a lash primer, yes, we want thicker, longer lashes, but people will often do it by loading up the mascara. And that's a mistake. Like if you put layers and layers of mascara on, what can actually happen is it can actually weigh the lashes down because there's just so much product on there. So the lash primer gives you that thickness and length. So you really only need to use a couple of coats of mascara. Okay. I just focus mainly on the outer and mid sort of section with the lash primer. And you'll see how it's sort of white? It does dry less white than that. But there's still sort of a bit of whiteness. So if you do accidentally go out with mascara, yes, you're going to have white eyelashes. Okay, you don't need to let that wait or dry. You can just go straight into your mascara. Now, if you've never experienced our mascara, we've got 9 minutes left, so we've got to speed this up a little bit. They do come as a build your own. So that means that you purchase the base, which has a cap on it. You can purchase the black or the dark brown, and then you get to select the wand that you would like to use. Now, my favorite one is the tiny little spoolie. I just think with my older, more mature lashes, it gets right into all of those short little curlies. So short curly lashes, you might find this tiny one an option. And you can also grab one of the other ones if you're wanting to use for different looks. So choose a wand that's up to you. They're made out of silicone, so you can wash these. Medical grade silicone, you just wash them and then you purchase the base only, which is great because these things can't be recycled. Now, when you first get it, make sure you put your wand in straight away so the mascara has time to melt into that wand a little bit. The first application just may need a little bit of dipping in and out just to get the initial bit of mascara into the wand, okay? But I love this. There's just no guilt associated. You can recycle this with us, but you don't have to worry about the wand. I mean, you can send them to, I think there's a lot of those charities for animals and stuff, but I just rather produce stuff that you can reuse, to be honest. Right now, incoming, weird looking face. We all do this. I don't know why when we're doing mascara. Concentration. All right, so with your mascara, you want to place it under the lashes and you want to sort of blink. You can jigsaw it a little bit if you want, but you blink. None of this dun 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 and like all you need to do is blink. If you just place it in the right spot. See, I'm not even moving my mascara wand, except for when I'm moving inwards, but you just blink onto it. And that, I promise you, is going to give you much better mascara application than all of this jigsaw-y adding nonsense. Okay, again, now this is a waterproof a water-resistant mascara. So what that means is if you're going to cry or sweat, a little bit maybe of splashing. I mean, if you're going to go full-fledged swimming for hours on end, maybe not. But it's definitely great for those of you that maybe you get watery eyes, you've got sensitive eyes, mascara smudges on you. You're going to love this. It is not hard to get off with a cleanser. So you just use our pre-makeup cleanser or the balm cleanser and it will melt away. I don't know prior to starting Adorn how many waterproof mascaras I tried, because even though I don't have hooded eyes or I'm not in a hot climate, I still would get mascara smudging everywhere. And then I'd go and try a waterproof one and I would literally have to rip my eyelashes off to get the damn stuff off. It was just a nightmare. So I am just putting a coat on the top of my lashes and curling them out. Notice I'm doing that just to get rid of any extra lash primer. And then I'm using the tip of my wand. So to get length, rather than constantly loading up more mascara, I'm just using the tip of my mascara wand to build up these last lashes. I'm sorry, I am looking in another mirror here because I'm scared I'm going to poke myself in the eye. So again, see, I'm just going to tickle these lashes here. See? And that's how you get your length without having to keep building up the mascara. Now, I might finish that off screen because I'm scared I'm going to poke myself in the eye. I don't love doing mascara on the videos. I think most people know how to put mascara on. It's just a few little tips on how to get the length without sort of weighing it down. Okay, now I'm going to just curl them again. I'm just going to let it dry for a second, and then I'm going to curl my lashes again, and you'll see the difference. Thanks, team. I just got a little, it looks so good. So that's nice. Let's get rid of that. Oh, we love a white t-shirt that just is still white. So I've got the little bit of highlighter on, and I'm going to put on the lip glaze. If you're ever wanting something that's a little more luxurious than a balm, this guy. It's so conditioning. It's just yum. And it looks beautiful over lipsticks. You can put it on a nude lip, just have it as a little bit of a gloss. She's getting angry. Okay, so this is, obviously I've got the highlighter on, so it's not going to look completely like the lip glaze, but kind of like a pearly, even without the highlighter, the lip glaze is kind of a pearly sort of finish. Like lip balm is clear, and it is kind of clear, but it's got this light pearliness to it. So it's just such a pretty colour. So if you're wanting a no lipstick day, but you want a bit of volume, you want hydration, it's a very, very popular colour product. Not colour. So there we have it. I have finished the tutorial. I hope, I'm looking at everything underneath me. I'm thinking, no, I haven't left anything out. I think I've covered everything. So let's just do a last curl of, I'm just going to do one eye so you can see the difference, and then I will say adios. I've got 2 minutes left. How's the timing? I mean, I couldn't have done that any better. And then if you are watching this thinking, holy goodness, I am not going to remember any of that, don't worry, because the team, the amazing Adorn team, will be putting this up onto the actual page so that you be able to watch it back. I mean, why wouldn't you just do that extra little curl? Except, let me just, what I love about this mascara, it's so pliable. Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like I've got false lashes on. There we go. So I'm going to go fix my hair, head out now, and I hope you enjoyed this. Please let us know if there's anything that you would love for me to do as an individual tutorial, and thank you for your time. Happy, what day is it here? Thursday. Bye.